ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ನಿಧಿ 27ನೇ ವರ್ಷದ ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವ ಈ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. 2ನೇ ದಿನದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿರಿಯರಿಗೆ, ಗಾಂಧಿವಾದಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ನಿಧಿಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ವಂದಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಈ ದಿನದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. Good morning everybody. Welcome to International Seminar to commemorate 75th year of Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi. I welcome each one of you here for the sessions for day 2. We are starting this day with a very interesting session on Gandhian values and the revolutionary power of technology. Is a synthesis possible? It's a question that we need to ask, and today we have with us some prominent speakers who are capable of answering this question and helping us enlighten ourselves about Gandhian values and the revolutionary power of technology. Today we have with us Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni, columnist and author of The Music of the Spinning Wheel. We also have an online presence of Mr. Sam Pitroda, internationally respected telecom inventor, information and communication technologist. I request all the speakers to come on stage. We also have Mr. Malamud, technologist and advocate of public domain, public.resource.org. He's also the co-founder of Servants of Knowledge Initiative, which we are digitizing various books here in Gandhi Bhavan. We also have Mr. Kollegala Sharma, senior science communicator and former chief scientist in CSIR, Central Food Technology Research Institute, Mysore. Gandhi values and revolutionary power of technology, since this is possible. So, ಗಾಂಧಿಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅದರ ಸಾಮ್ಯತೆ, ಅದರ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ? ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ನಾವೇ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು 21ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾರಂಭದ ಉದ್ದೇಶವೇ 21ನೇ ಶತಮಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಚರ್ಚಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸುಧೀಂದ್ರ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ, ಕಾಲಮ್ನಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಥರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ವೀಲ್. Sudheendra Kulkarni is a prominent Indian political activist, writer and public intellectual known for his deep commitment to secularism and Gandhian principles. A former aide to Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Kulkarni has been an influential voice in Indian politics, advocating for inclusive governance and interfaith harmony. He played a key role in policy formulation and communication strategies during his tenure in the Prime Minister's office. He is a strong proponent of dialogue between India and Pakistan, often championing the cause of peace and reconciliation between the two nations. An author of several books and a regular columnist, one of his well-known books is Music of Spinning Wheel, Mahatma Gandhi's Manifesto for the Internet Age. This book reflects on how Gandhi's principles can be applied in the contemporary digital world, advocating a synthesis of traditional value with modern technology to create a more equitable and just society. I request Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni to give a speech. Thank you very much, sir.
Our seminar was a grand success yesterday because of all your cooperation and wishes. I just had to mention a special note about this seminar. Our great Sudheendra Kulkarni is a son of Karnataka. He is from native of Belgaum. He is the main person for our all seminar concept, and he has bring lot of international speakers, especially Ban Ki-moon. He was a Secretary General, former Secretary General, and it is very difficult to get him. Because of Sudheendra Kulkarni, who could get Ban Ki-moon's speech, like that only all. Akbar Ahmad is a contemporary Islamic literature leader, I say. Sudheendra Kulkarni has introduced Akbar Ahmad to us, and he has given a very good speech. And one Mr. Kyung Shang from China, he is also a friend of Sudheendra Kulkarni. He could make his recorded speech for us. And like that, Sam Pitroda and Felix Machado, these are all their good friends. Because of his connection, international connection, this seminar was this standard. I personally congratulate and my sincere thanks from all Karnataka Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi and all our Gandhi fraternity. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Students and children, at the outset, I convey my best wishes to Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi for having completed 75 years of dedication, commitment to Gandhian values. My heartfelt thanks, friends, to the organizers of this seminar, Dr. Uday Krishna ji, Vishwakumar ji, others, for inviting me to participate. As we all know, the overall theme of this seminar is Mahatma Gandhi for the 21st century. The values that Gandhiji stood for actually go well beyond the 21st century. They're timeless. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರ ಜನ್ಮ ಅದು 19ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರು ಈ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಿಂದ ಹೋದದ್ದು 20ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದರೆ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು, ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರ ಮೂಲ್ಯಗಳು ಅವು ಕಾಲಾತೀತ. Truth, non-violence, universal brotherhood, universal justice, mutual cooperation, mutual compassion and love. These are as old as human species. But Gandhiji himself has written that truth and non-violence, satya, ahimsa, are as old as hills. They're timeless. And these will last as long as the human species lasts, and perhaps beyond, because ours is not the last species in the evolution of life. We should not be under the illusion that today's human beings, this is the pinnacle, the last point of evolution of human species. There is something far better, far superior, that's going to succeed us. And even then, Gandhiji's values will be relevant, and they'll continue to guide the next species that will follow human species. The theme of this session, friends, is Gandhian values and the revolutionary power of technology. Is a synthesis possible? Now, ಈ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇದು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ತವರೂರು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಇದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ. My thoughts on this subject are based on my book, which was mentioned in the introduction, Music of the Spinning Wheel, Mahatma Gandhi's Manifesto for the Internet Age. I should explain briefly why I wrote this book. There is a widespread misconception that Gandhiji was opposed to science, technology, industrialization and modernity in general. This perception of Gandhiji stems largely from the fact that his personality and his philosophy are associated with the spinning wheel. ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಸಿದರೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಚಿತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣೆದುರಿಗೆ ಬರೋದು ಅವರ ಚರಕ. ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಂಜೀವ್ ಅವನು ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೂಲಿನ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಚರಕ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಆಧುನಿಕ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ? ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ ಬಿ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ in today's age of science and technology? This is the question that several people ask. We all know what Winston Churchill, the arrogant leader of the empire, said about Gandhiji. He called him a half-naked fakir, Ardha Nagna fakir. What he meant was, how can this half-naked fakir belonging to the Middle Ages claim to be leading the independence movement of a nation which the British regarded as the crown of their empire? Friends, being a student of technology myself, a serious question confronted me. How can a man, howsoever great in his own time, be relevant in our technological age if he was opposed to modern science and technology? Our age, as we all know, is uniquely defined by the mighty advances in science and technology. And if Gandhiji was indeed opposed to modern science and technology, it means that in some crucial ways, he belongs to the past and not to the present, and much less to the future of humanity. In other words, in this age of the internet, in the age of revolutionary advances in artificial intelligence, Gandhiji with his spinning wheel, Gandhiji who advocated revival of village industries, is certainly anachronistic, indisputably outdated. But is this really true? How can Gandhiji be relevant to our age as an apostle of peace, non-violence and religious harmony, and yet be irrelevant on the parameter of science and technology which distinguishes our age from all the previous eras in human history? This is the question that confronted me. The more I studied this subject, the more I got convinced that Gandhiji was far from being an opponent of science, technology and modernity. Indeed, my second discovery in my study of Gandhiji led me to another interesting, even amazing understanding, that the philosophy of the spinning wheel has something close to the revolutionary power of the internet. You might wonder, what kinship can there possibly be between the modest spinning wheel, which occupies the primitive end of the technological spectrum, and the internet, which occupies the most advanced technological offering of the human mind? So before I proceed further with my talk, friends, I would like to show you a short film that encapsulates the main theme of my book. It's only 6 minutes. May I request our friends there to show it to us, please, and if possible, kindly dim the lights.
A just, peaceful and beautiful new world is being born. A world that Mahatma Gandhi had envisioned. A vision that will be realized by the internet, an avatar of the spinning wheel.
Life from a deeply spiritual and scientific perspective, both spiritual perspective and scientific perspective. He was a saintly man, but he had deep faith in the power of science, technology and machinery. Where he differed from others was this revolutionary power of modern science, modern machinery, modern technology. It should be used not for violence, not for waging wars, not for exploitation of the weak by strong, or of weak countries by strong countries, not for promoting greed and unnecessary wants, and not for colonization and exploitation of Mother Nature. Rather, Gandhiji believed that science and technology should be used to fulfill the basic needs of all human beings on earth. They should be used to eradicate poverty, hunger and disease. They should be used to reduce human drudgery. They should be used to spread knowledge of both the external world and also of the internal world of the human heart, mind and soul. Indeed, Gandhiji had a romantic attachment to all those discoveries and inventions of science and technology which had the potential to serve humanity. You might have noticed a very interesting line in the film where Gandhiji says that everything in life can be converted into science and romance. Science and romance. The use of the word romance here is deliberate. For Gandhiji, romance meant love of humanity, love of anything and everything that brought happiness to humanity. In a sense, Gandhiji was a romantic and spiritually guided scientist. He redefined the meaning of romance and love to embrace love for everybody on earth. Not just human beings, but also all living beings on earth. For him, God, truth, non-violence and love meant one and the same thing. Gandhiji believed that everything in human life should be guided by the same truth or the same set of fundamental ethical and harmony-creating principles, be it politics, economics, business, education, relations between nations and religious communities, and also relations between man and nature. In practical terms, service of truth and non-violence meant first and foremost service of the poor and the needy, care and compassion and cooperation. He encapsulated this value, this ideal in just 2 words: Sarvodaya, Antyodaya. ಸರ್ವೋದಯ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಉದಯ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಆದರೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅಂತ್ಯೋದಯ, ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಿಮ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರ ಉದಯ ಮೊದಲಾಗಬೇಕು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಉಪಯೋಗವಾಗಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ ಅವರ ವಿಚಾರ. And Gandhiji conducted amazing scientific experiments in the communes or ashrams that he established. 2 in South Africa, where he spent 20 transformative years of his life between 1894 and 1915, and 2 later in India. His communes, his ashrams, were indeed R&D centers for research and development, where he researched into both matters of man's outer world and the mysteries of man's inner world. I can say without any fear of being contradicted that Gandhiji is the only political leader in modern times who attached least importance to politics. Friends, he was the leader of our freedom movement, which was a political movement, but he attached the least importance to politics. He spent more time turning his spinning wheel and popularizing khadi, which he projected as a non-violent weapon against colonial exploitation. He spent more time nursing the sick. He spent more time conducting experiments in health and nature cure. He spent more time exhorting the Indian people to remove the scourge of untouchability. He was a great social reformer. He spent more time conducting experiments in children's education. Nayi Talim. He spent more time championing the cause of women's empowerment, since he believed that the law of the future evolution of the human species is not survival of the fittest. The law of the future evolution of human life is not survival of the fittest, but survival of the kindest. It was his firm conviction that the womanly qualities of care, compassion, nurturing and motherly love alone would save mankind and take it to a higher level of evolution. In his own words, I quote, "If non-violence is the law of our being, the future is with women." Unquote. And Gandhiji spent more time preaching and practicing inter-religious harmony. And ultimately, he became a martyr to the dark forces which did not believe in inter-religious harmony. The Godse. Friends, there is also no other leader in modern history of mankind who philosophically linked all these ideals: decolonization of nations, end of exploitation, end to wars and violence, elimination of poverty, sustainable or green development, women's empowerment, development of science and technology, social reform, religious harmony, and man's inner purification and transformation. He linked all these to one supreme ideal, and that ideal is pursuit of truth and non-violence. For Gandhiji, Satyagraha was not only a non-violent method of struggle for India's independence. ಅದು ಕೇವಲ ಭಾರತದ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಡೆಸಿದ ಅದು ವಿಧಾನವಾಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹ ಅಂದರೆ ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹ was a call for establishing a new human civilization based on universal brotherhood, cooperation, and a new ethics of life based on honesty, trust, truthfulness. And Gandhiji wanted that the world should adopt such science and technology and machinery that would promote these age-old ethical values for creating a new human civilization. Friends, it is my belief that science and technology are shaping the world in such a way that the future of humanity will be more Gandhian than it is today. ನಾನು ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. There are many people today who somehow lack confidence and faith in the power of science and technology. I appeal to all Gandhians that we should have faith in the power of science and technology, because this is the greatest force of transformation that mankind has discovered and invented. We are soon going to enter, or perhaps we have already entered, the era of artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is going to transform the world in ways that we cannot imagine. I have with me a book. It is by Ray Kurzweil, whose quote you saw in the film. And Ray Kurzweil is one of the world's foremost technological futurists. And he says about Gandhiji that Gandhi is a prophet for the age of communication revolution. This is someone who is today considered the foremost authority on artificial intelligence. And Ray Kurzweil says that today we have entered an era when we merge with AI. Human bodies are going to merge with artificial intelligence. In the coming decades, the intelligence, the non-biological intelligence, that is the intelligence of machines, will exceed the intelligence of the human brain million times. And artificial intelligence, nanotechnology are going to realize the ideals of Gandhiji. Decentralization, conservation of material resources, care for nature, all these are going to become possible provided we use the power of science and technology with wisdom, with sadbuddhi, with sanmati. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, and this is especially addressed to our dear children here, because they are going to enter a world full of possibilities. As Gandhiji himself said, and it's truly a prophetic statement. Gandhiji has written, "We are constantly being astonished by the amazing discoveries in the field of violence. We are constantly being astonished at the amazing discovery in the field of violence." But then he predicted, "But I maintain that far more undreamt of and seemingly impossible discoveries will be made in the field of non-violence." The future belongs to non-violence. The future belongs to love. The future belongs to compassion. The future belongs to non-cooperation. So, let's leave such a wonderful new future, bright future for our children, for children of India, for the children of the entire world. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Jagat.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. 19ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಧಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಚರಕದಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದರು, ಅದು ಇಂದಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ದಾರಿದೀಪವಾಗಬಲ್ಲದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ವೀಲ್ ಚಿತ್ರಣದ ಮೂಲಕವೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸುಧೀಂದ್ರ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಬಲ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ the way you actually explained how Gandhi values can actually help our students and the next generation take the message forward. Now we have a pre-recorded video of Mr. Sam Pitroda, an internationally renowned telecom inventor and information and communication technologist. I'll give a quick brief on his bio and then we'll have the video. Sam Pitroda is a globally recognized inventor, entrepreneur, and technology visionary who has made significant contributions to Indian telecommunications and IT sectors. Often referred to as the father of Indian information technology revolution, Pitroda played a pivotal role in transforming India's telecommunication landscape in the 1980s and 1990s. As the advisor to Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, Pitroda spearheaded the establishment of the Center of Development of Telematics, CDOT, and the creation of India's first indigenous digital switching systems. His efforts significantly expanded rural telephony, bridging the communication gap in the country. He served as the chairman for National Knowledge Commission, advising the Indian government on various issues related to education, innovation, and the application of technology to improve governance. In addition to his contributions to India, Pitroda has been active on global stage, advocating for technology-driven development and innovation. He continues to be a thought leader in areas such as digital inclusion, sustainable development, and democratization of information. ಇಂದಿನ ದಿನ ಭಾರತದ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಬೇಕಂತಂದರೆ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ ಪಿಟ್ರೋಡಾ ಅವರ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಟೆಲಿಕಾಂ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು IT ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೀ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ತಮ್ಮ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರು ಗಾಂಧಿಯ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಏಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅವರ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Friends, greetings from Chicago. It is indeed a special privilege and honor for me to be here with you to say a few words on Gandhi and technology. To me, Gandhi was a great role model, inspiration, especially at a time when I went to school. I was born in 1942 in British Raj. In the boarding school I went to was totally Gandhian. I believe Gandhi is more relevant today than ever before in the history. Of course, Gandhi means many things to many people. He was a father of a nation. He was a leader, fakir. He was an idea. He was a concept. And he was a phenomenon. He was a decolonizer of the British Raj. He promoted non-violence, but commanded no armies, held no government positions, and led the biggest independence movement in the history, which ultimately resulted in decolonizing the entire world. He was a great communicator. To me, simplicity, sense of sacrifice, service to people, unconditional love for all, truth and absolute truth, single standard of conduct in public and private life really defined Gandhi in many ways. Gandhi was not against technology. But Gandhi was against technology that was misused, like everything else. Gandhi was for technology benefiting people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. Technology that could not divide people, but unite people. Technology that could create opportunities for a large number of people in rural areas. I'm confident that Gandhiji would have been excited about internet, social media, because it is all about openness, accessibility, connectivity, networking, democratization, decentralization, and ultimately social transformation and economic opportunities. Gandhi believed in decentralization. Small is beautiful. Local talent, local capabilities, local needs, an opportunity to create local jobs. Unfortunately, very few people really go into deeper understanding of Gandhi and his ways and means to really bring development to a large number of people. I have studied Gandhi a little bit. I believe his thoughts and actions related to environment, Dandi March, salt, song like Vaishnava Janto, Kenere Kaye, his prayers, his charkha, his dhoti, all were symbols of communicating a great message. His life was his message, loud and clear. When I started my work on telecom, I took inspiration from Gandhi. The digital technology must reach all the villages. This was in early 1980s when I met Mrs. Indira Gandhi and talked about transforming India through telecom and IT, which was quite a new concept in those days. Mrs. Gandhi understood it, supported me. Then Rajiv Gandhi gave me political will to implement. But the idea then was exactly opposite to Western concept. Western world wanted big switches, big manufacturing, increasing telephone density. And Gandhian thought said, it is all about connecting villages, smaller exchanges, rural communication, distributed architecture, indigenous talent, local manufacturing, local ancillary industries, and building human capacity. What we started then, when we had only 2 million telephones in India, has now mushroomed into a country of connected billion. We have 1.5 billion phones, and we generate $200 billion worth of software service export every year, year after year. It was possible only because we took Gandhian approach. If we had taken the Western approach of importing telephone exchanges, importing software for it, we wouldn't be where we are. Very few people understand the contribution of Gandhian thought in our approach to telecom development, IT development. To me, Gandhi comes at 3 different levels. One, at a personal level, people level, which to me emphasize truth, trust, love, courage, and conviction. Gandhi always talked about courage. Courage was the key to Gandhian activity on sacrifice, simplicity. Then at a planet level, Gandhi meant environment, needs of the people, bottom-up development, and dedicating your life to the service. At a platform level, Gandhi was a true believer in democracy, human rights, freedom, inclusion, diversity, non-violence. And Gandhi would have used social media very effectively to promote all of these. It is unfortunate that few people are using social media to malign Gandhi with misinformation. I feel sorry for all of them. I wish they would take a little more time to understand the power of this Indian mind, committed to larger public good. If world had followed Gandhi in 1940s while restructuring the global equation with World Bank, IMF, WTO, WHO, UN, and focused on Gandhian ideas, I tell you, world would be very different today. Gandhian ideas would have included decentralization, sustainability, non-violence. These are very powerful things. Gandhi was a man of technology. Gandhi was a man of ideas and innovations. And I'm delighted that we are remembering Gandhi once again at this event. We need millions and millions of people all over the world to think about Gandhi, promote Gandhi, and make Gandhi relevant today. In the day of technology, Gandhi is more relevant, especially in social media. So I wish you all the best. I want to compliment you for taking this initiative, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
ಚಿಕಾಗೋದಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾರಂಭಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗಾಂಧಿಯ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿದ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ ಪಿಟ್ರೋಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ನಿಧಿಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ. He gave a very interesting insight into how Gandhi would have loved the technology that we have today. At the same time, he also objected how we are misusing the technology in this internet era. He also spoke about decentralization. He also spoke about social transformation. So, from yesterday, we have been hearing how technology has been transforming ourselves, how Gandhian values can actually make a difference in our lives. And we are continuing this journey with our next speaker, Mr. Malamud. I'm very happy to have started the initiative Servants of Knowledge, which is digitizing a lot of books here in Gandhi Bhavan. Malamud is an American technologist, author, and public domain advocate known for his foundation public.resource.org, headquartered in California. He is also a co-founder of the Servants of Knowledge here in India. He is a pioneering advocate to open access to government information. He has dedicated his career to making public domain materials, particularly legal documents and government publications, freely accessible to anyone. Malamud's efforts have included scanning and releasing vast amount of government data, legal codes and court rulings, challenging the barriers that restrict public access to this information. His work has been instrumental in promoting transparency and accountability in government, earning him widespread recognition as a leader in the open access movement. I welcome you, sir, for your speech.
Thank you very much. My friend Omshivaprakash, my friend and colleague and co-founder of the Servants of Knowledge. I wish to thank the Karnataka Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, the Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, New Delhi, for inviting me. I especially want to thank Dr. Uday Krishna, Mr. Vishu Kumar, Honorary Secretary Narendra, for giving the servants of knowledge such a nice home here at the Gandhi Bhavan. It's been a real pleasure and an honor to partake of the activities. My friend and colleague, Kollegala Sharma, science educator par excellence, Mr. Kulkarni, a public servant and Gandhian, and of course, our spinners for this wonderful technology demo that they are giving. So Sam's comments were inspiring, but let me tell you a little backstory that he didn't mention. He said he asked to see Indira Gandhi. He wanted to put a telephone in every village. It was pretty presumptuous to ask to see the Prime Minister. He wasn't connected, he wasn't a politician or anything. And so the Prime Minister's office finally came back and said he could have 10 minutes. And Sam said, no, I must have 1 hour. And the secretary was a little bit taken aback and went back to the Prime Minister's office, the PMO, and he said he'd check. And a month later they called, and they said he could have the full hour. And that was real chutzpah, but that's Sam Pitroda. He doesn't take no for an answer. Sam talked about how the internet was a decentralized architecture, was Gandhian. I want to expand on that, to talk about how there were actually 2 internets in the early days, and there are 2 internets today. I started working on computers in the late 1960s when I was a little boy. My father used to bring me to the laboratory to help him boot up the computers. In those days you had to flip switches before the computers would wake up and say hello. And by the late 1970s it was clear that something was happening with both communications and computers. They were converging. They were becoming the same thing. I dropped out of my PhD program in economics to work for the Computing Center at Indiana University. I went to Washington, D.C., and I helped change how computers were used at the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, our central bank. And in the 1980s, I wrote a series of books about computer networks. By about 1985, those of us in the field knew there was going to be a global internet. We had no idea how big it was going to be. And we were all shocked and amazed at how big it ended up being today. But back then, only those of us working in the field had the hubris to believe this was actually happening. But it was happening. In those days, all communications was the province of centralized telecommunications companies. We called them telcos. In the US, it was AT&T, and then it was broken up into a series of regional telcos. But it was still, you had one choice. And in India, it was ITI, India Telephone Industries. Those big companies and big government thought they were going to build the internet. It was what I would call the Raj internet, or perhaps an East India Company internet, or perhaps a bit of both, but it wasn't your internet. The telcos owned all the equipment. They told you what you could connect to the telephone network. It was totally top-down, totally centralized, and this was the case all over the world. The telcos banded together with governments like the European Commission and the US Department of Defense, and they dreamed up an internet they called the Open Systems Interconnection, or OSI. It was coordinated by the International Standards Organization. Everybody spent billions of dollars on the Raj internet. Tens of thousands of people worked on it. In their vision, the telcos would operate the entire internet, and they tell you exactly what you could do. It was a black box. They'd have a menu of services you could purchase, like text messaging or email, and you paid per message and per email. All of them would cost money. You bought your internet a la carte, and it was not cheap. This was not an all-you-can-eat buffet. They called this Raj internet a so-called smart network, by which they meant all the smarts were in the middle. The telco was smart, you were dumb. To understand how the net worked, you had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to buy the standards, and the net was encumbered by all sorts of patents. There was another internet, though. Meanwhile, a few hundred people all over the world working in research labs and universities and small companies, a few for government, many of them, like me, self-employed consultants, were banding together in an informal group called the Internet Engineering Task Force. Our network was totally decentralized. To us, the telcos were dumb. The smarts were all on the edges in the computers. All the telco was supposed to do was push bits from one place to another. No fancy services that you bought or anything like that. Our internet was based on open source software and open protocols and no patents. Any computer could be a server. Anybody could invent a new service. Like my friend Tim Berners-Lee, who created the World Wide Web. This was a Gandhian internet. Gandhi said the future of India was in the villages, not the corporate and government centers like Mumbai and Delhi. We believed the future of the internet was in the laptops and desktops and phones, not vested in the corporate towers of the telcos. Gokhale told Gandhi to go to the villages. We went to the desktops. We weren't supposed to win. The Raj internet was destined to be the one and only internet, but it's gone today. We won that war. The internet is, in fact, a Gandhian net. So the title of this session asks if a synthesis is possible between, on the one hand, Gandhian values, and on the other hand, the revolutionary power of technology. And many people assume on the one hand you have Gandhi, and on the other hand you have technology and science. And I think this is totally wrong. Gandhi has always believed in the revolutionary power of technology. The question was, to what aims did you practice the revolution? Was it to enrich the rich, to enrich yourself, to cement the power of the central government, to enforce communal divides by disinformation, to keep down the poor? He opposed that. Or would technology be used to bring up the people, to level the playing field, to work for all of us, no matter what our means? He embraced that kind of technology. For him, technology was not a magic bullet. The future was in the people. It wasn't in some magic thing. It isn't AI or singularities that will save the world. It's people and how they use the technology that will make the difference. Now, a perfect illustration of why characterizing Gandhi as anti-science is totally wrong comes from my friend Ram Guha, who writes about Gandhi's views on medicine. Many think that Gandhi was against scientific medicine and only believed in natural cures and herbal medicines. And that may have been true when he was younger, but Gandhi was always open to learn. And he learned about Western medicine, and by 1919, he believed enough that he asked for surgery to cure his piles, and was so impressed that he recommended it to anybody else who had that issue. In 1921, Gandhi opened a medical college in Delhi, the Tibia College. He paid tribute to the spirit of research that fires the modern scientists. But then he issued a stern warning. He said, "My quarrel is not against that spirit. My complaint is against the direction that spirit has taken. It has chiefly concerned itself with the exploration of laws and methods conducing to the merely material advancement of its clientele." One of my favorite Gandhi stories is a few years later. In 1925 in Calcutta, he was asked to lay the foundation for a new Ayurvedic university, the Ashtanga Ayurveda Vidyalaya. All the dignitaries present spoke about the bright future and the mission of this new enterprise. What a great occasion it was to be there. And then it came Gandhi's turn to speak. He trashed the joint. He criticized the whole enterprise. He started out talking about medicine in general, expressed his usual reticence about medicine, what a difficult patient he was. But then he focused in specifically on Ayurvedic medicine. He called the Ayurvedic doctors arrogant. They lacked humility. They promised that they could cure all diseases. He said the industry was selling humbug medicines only to make money, that magazines were full of advertisements that catered to the basest passions of humanity only to make money. He said the advertisements were alluring and no doubt profitable, but were cutting deep into the vitals of the suffering humanity. He totally trashed the joint. The committee asked him to withdraw his comments and he refused. He said what he believed and he was sticking with it. He believed in Ayurveda, properly applied. He didn't like how it was being applied. Now, I take two lessons from this. The first, of course, was that if you invited Gandhiji to speak, you should be prepared for him to speak his mind and not assume he would sing your praises. He spoke truth to power. The other, of course, is that Gandhi, I believe, would have been a huge user of technology today. And as Mr. Kulkarni and Sam Pitroda both said, if Gandhi, for example, were asked by Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, the owner of Twitter, to speak at Twitter, I think the same thing would happen. Gandhi would, with a twinkle in his eye, say, of course, I'd be happy to speak. And then he would totally trash the joint. I don't know what Gandhi would say, but I'll tell you what I would say about Twitter. It's a cesspool of misinformation. It's a haven for extremists. It is untransparent, biased, manipulated. It has become the sewer of social media, has the morals and dedication to public service of the East India Company. We went from the Raj internet, governments were going to control your internet. We now have the East India Company internet. For Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and Elon Musk and Twitter, you are the product to manipulate and exploit. You are there to make profits for their companies located in the West. You are there to be manipulated in elections, to be manipulated with misinformation and disinformation and bias. This is the Raj internet. There is a Raj internet, right, the Sarkar. There is the East India Company internet, the Bazaar. There is a third path, Samaj, civil society. This is Rohini Nilekani's wonderful three-part explanation of the world. So in the Gandhian internet, there's a world out there of open source and open protocol and open science and open access to knowledge. And the question is not technology or Gandhi. This is not a revolution. It is the path that Gandhi followed his whole life. And we simply follow in the footsteps of the Mahatma. If you're in the technology business, the question is not the magic bullets of technology. It's how will you use those magic bullets. Thank you very much.
ಮುಕ್ತ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ, ಮುಕ್ತ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ಮುಕ್ತ ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಲಭ್ಯತೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುತ್ತಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ 21ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ವಿಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಟ್ವಿಟರ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಲಮದ್ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಿಸ್ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನನ್ನು ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋಂಥ ಏನು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಇದೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಮಗೆ ಬೆಂಬಲ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕಾಲ್ ತುಂಬ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಅವರ ಸ್ಪೀಚಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನ್ಲೈಟನಿಂಗ್ ಅಸ್ with your speech on open knowledge, open access, open technology in the views of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Now I would like to request Sri Kollegala Sharma to give his next speech. Sri Kollegala Sharma is a prominent senior science communicator and popular science writer in Canada. Many of us might know Kutuhali and Jana Suddhi podcast. And I forgot to mention that Carl also invented internet radio. So today we actually are going to talk about podcasting. So he invented that on internet. Formerly, Kollegala Sharma, formerly a chief scientist at CSIR, Central for Technology Research Institute, CFTRI in Mysore. He has authored over 3,500 popular science articles and scripted 200 science radio dramas for All India Radio and community radios. In the past 5 years, he has pioneered a Kannada science podcast, Jana Suddhi. Was a finalist for Germany's Breaking Walls competition, producing over 800 episodes with significant reach via WhatsApp and community radios. As a trainer and resource person, he has contributed to science translation, writing, and scripting of science plays. From 2001 to 2023, he has served as the state coordinator for Kutuhali, a science communication program, and he currently edits the monthly Kannada science magazine Kutuhali. He has been honored with the Best Science Communicator Award by the Vision Group on Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka, and the Best Writer Award by the Karnataka Science and Technology Academy Award. ಕುತೂಹಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಝಿನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾಣ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಮೂಲೆ ಮೂಲೆಗಳಿಗೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಮೂಲಕ ತಲುಪ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅವರ ಮಾತುಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ 21ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋಣ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಓಂ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ನಿಧಿಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಳಗದವರಿಗೂ, ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿಯವರಿಗೂ, ಮಾಲಮುಡ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಸಭಿಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಗೆಳೆಯರಾದಂಥ ಜಯದೇವ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸರಿನೋ ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ I start this. Before coming here, I was very hesitant because I belong to a generation which I call as a Trishanku generation. Trishanku generation mainly because we never fought for independence, we never started building this nation, but we were very vocal in criticizing whatever was happening. So we started that. And standing right next to people like Sudheendra Kulkarni, or speaking after Malamud, or our technologist, Sam Pitroda, it's very difficult because I still believe, or I remember in 1983, when I started my career as a telephone operator, it was very difficult to connect Mysore to just Kumbakonam. I have spent 5 nights on those days to connect one call. That was the day we were there. It was later that the RAX came, what Sam Pitroda was mentioning. The idea was, of course, to take technology and science to everyone in India, and this was because Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru believed that science and technology is the only tool that can provide solutions to the problems that India faced and the world faced. In fact, it's so much, science and technology is so much, every scientist that I have come across who speaks about using science and technology for development usually quotes Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and his quotes are so famous. But what I wonder is, a disciple of Gandhi, about whom we were taught that Gandhi is a technology averse person, or who didn't like the technology at that time. And could he think of science and technology as the tool for the development of this nation? And when we look back at that, I'm not going to talk about the Gandhian values and the science and technology in present world or in the future world. That has been discussed threadbare by previous speakers. What I will be talking about is, as the third generation citizen of this country, post-independence, have we used the science and technology to build that future India which Gandhi dreamt about? And Gandhi had specific dreams about India. In 1931, in Chatham House, when he gave a lecture, he outlined what the future India should be. And remember, in 1931, we didn't have these kind of technologies that we have today, neither in health, nor in irrigation, nor in agriculture. We just had, I think, the chemical fertilizers being used in Germany, but otherwise, we didn't have any of those available to any other country in the world. And at that time, Gandhi had spoken about what kind of a India we need. And 3 core principles that he spoke about were this. It has already been discussed. One is that decentralized villages he wanted. The villages should be Gram Swaraj, if we add another word to that. villages should be self-sufficient in everything that we do. And of course, the image that he gave or a metaphor that he used was the charka. I still feel the charka not as a tool but as a metaphor, as an image of what we should be doing to the villages. He said, when he was discussing the role of science and technology, he specifically said that we should, whatever we do in future, consider the Antyodaya, 80% of the people who live in villages and who need help from every others. And this was in 1931, when we were only 300 million population. Today we are 120 million population, and in spite of that we have 120 crores, and again we still have those 80% people needing science and technology or any help that they can get. And so we have not progressed much. If we take the science and technology or other progress that we have made, we still have a lot to do to make our villages independent, make our villages self-sufficient. And like Carl said, in this area of technology, decentralization is very important. Whenever I go around Mysore, I see a picture of a families on the roadside. These are blacksmiths, Kammaru. They sell knives, katti, kudgolu, and other agricultural implements, and they make it on the roadside. When I see that, there is a contrast in the enterprise. They come from villages to urban areas and they want to sell their ware here. Could they not have done it by sitting in their villages? Could we not provide in this technologies day a means for them to do that from their houses? This is one question. The second question is, I see them using, like Sam Pitroda said, we wanted to take technology to the rural areas. They use a solar panel on their wherever they are. A solar panel will be there and they'll be using electricity produced by this solar panel. Fantastic technology, the future technology. But then for what do they use that? They use that technology to power their mobile phones, not for the core activity that they are doing. And this is what surprises me. Could we not have provided a means for them to do whatever they are good at? The smithy work, Kammaran kelsa madodike bekadanta, to run their furnace, a technology which is portable. And if that could have happened, the Gandhi's vision of providing tools to this 80% population that gives them an occupation in their places and retains the character of Indian villages as it is, would have been realized. But that has not happened. Similarly, the other vision that Gandhiji had was about education. And education is something that many of us discuss very frequently, because it forms the, the steps on which we can reach out to a higher level. And in this education, he says, we want education for everyone, a school in every village, a headmaster in every village. We now have all those things. But he also said that this education should not be costly. But so we have schools in every village, but not affordable education to everyone. So this is something that worries, and this development is recent. When I was young, when people started using Gandhi as a derogatory term, we had free education. But today, when I have to send my children to school, I have to really pay high. And if you do a survey around the villages, almost 30 to 40% of their earnings are spent on children's education. And this is something that we need to be very cautious about. How can we use science and technology to provide education to all equally? And it's not difficult. I was discussing with Carl, and we have open source technology. We have distributed networks which we can use. We have tried during COVID online teaching methods. We only have to tweak a little bit, make ourselves comfortable with the technology, and use that to reach even those unreached. And that is something that I look forward in the future, so that a person in a village, like in Chamarajnagar, what Mr. Jaydev is doing is a tremendous work. But that is only one pocket. Can we have similar exercises or similar systems throughout the country where everybody will have a good education? We need Jaydevs everywhere, not just one place. Or we don't need Jaydev, the system should take care of it. So this is what, can technology help? Technology can definitely help. This is what we need. But if you want an example, the other one is the solar lighting that we talked about. Selco is a NGO, which provided solar lighting to several villages so that the electrification became easier. My issue is, we provide this, but what Gandhi wanted was, besides providing these tools, we should also make the people self-reliant in developing the tools, the products, and sell them. That we are not doing. So the technology over the past 30-40 years, as I have seen, has helped the urban areas to develop, has made the rural areas look towards the urban areas for everything, from toothbrush to even now the mats that we sleep on. I'm not talking about cots, mats, plastic mats. And we are also importing the problems of urban pollution to villages through this. So can we not reverse this? If you go to Mysore, early morning 9 to maybe 7 to 9 o'clock, you will see a huge traffic from outside Mysore into the city. And these are people coming to city looking for a daily occupation. So they are not regular, wage earners. They come here, they stand in, there are several places in Mysore where they stand and look for someone to give them a job for that day. That's one of the pictures that you get in the cities. Can we not stop this traffic? The technology is there. There are several technologies that we have. Let's take e-commerce, for example. E-commerce could be leveraged very well to take the rural technology to the urban areas. There have been efforts for doing that, but the rural products also have to match the versatility of the urban large-scale products. So in that, the future, the technologists, the engineers and scientists should be looking at. Have we not done something like this? One example that comes to my mind is from CFTRA, where we did this long back, and of course I didn't do it. the previous generation did it. So they developed small tools that could be used in rural areas or in different places for a distributed production of, for example, lecher puppet or the environmental friendly leaf plates. These were small devices which were taken up by lakhs of people and were used across India. And this is what I think Gandhi had in his mind. And even in internet age, we can have technologies. We have some technologies, like there are call centers which are cheating people in some village areas, not in urban areas. But that is not what we want. We want call centers that provide information, education to the rural areas in their place, in their language, and what they need. And I think, saying this, I say that Gandhi is being discussed today, even after 90 years, which means that he will be relevant always. His values are eternal. But then how do we match those values by our actions? That's where I think we have to think, brood, introspect, and act. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for beautifully articulating how we should be adopting technology in this era. With 120 million population, how decentralization can actually make an impact with respect to the need for technology, use of technology, and how we can actually continue to dream about Gram Swaraj. So, 120 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಜನರಿರುವ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಧಿ ವಿಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಮತ್ತು ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ನೀಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಗಾಲ ಶರ್ಮಾ ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ನ ಈ ಗೋಷ್ಠಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೋಷ್ಠಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿ ಬಂದಂತಹ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪದಗಳೇನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ಯ, ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉಪಯೋಗ, ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ಯ, ರೈಟ್, ಸೊ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಕ್ತ ತಂತ್ರಾಂಶ, ಮುಕ್ತ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಈ ವಿಚಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮಂಥನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಂಡಿಸಿದ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಸುಧೀಂದ್ರ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ ಅವರು ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ಗಳೇನಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತು ಅವರು ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೀಲ್, ಚರಕದಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ನವರೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಆನಂತರ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ ಪಿಟ್ರೋಡಾ ಅವರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಉತ್ತಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನು ತಲುಪಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ ಹೇಗೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಗಾಂಧಿಯ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗಳನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಗಾಂಧಿ ಭವನದಲ್ಲೇ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮದು ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ಲೈನ್. ಅದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಕ್ತ ತಂತ್ರಾಂಶ ಅಥವಾ ಮುಕ್ತ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಲಮದ್ ಅವರು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯಾಗಿಯೂ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಮಾತುಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮಗೆ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಗಾಲ ಶರ್ಮಾ ಅವರು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೇಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಮೂಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಲುಪಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸ್ಮಾರಕ ನಿಧಿಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಲುಪಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. So now I request we'll be presenting mementos for all the guests here. So I request Sri Umesh Palgar, member of Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, to present the memento to Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Sanjay Singh, Secretary, Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, Delhi, to present the memento to Mr. Malamud. Dr. Sanjay Singh, Secretary, Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, Delhi, ಇವರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಲಮದ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ memento ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. Thank you, sir. Now I request Sri Senthil Kumar, Trustee, Tamil Nadu Gandhi Smaraka Nidhi, to present the memento to Mr. Kollegala Sharma. For all the viewers online, so this event is being broadcasted live on Book Brahma, Facebook, as well as Gandhi Bhavan Facebook and YouTube channels, which is also being streamed on edina.com. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining the session. So now we have a tea break for next 15 minutes, and we will come back here for the next session at 11:45. We'll have dialogue among religions for peace and harmony session.
ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಸೂಚನೆ, ಹಿರಿಯರಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಆದ್ಯತೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.